The story of the Darksiders games can sometimes feel convoluted. There's time travel, flashbacks, and visions. In this video, I'll try to make sense of the story by putting it in a chronological order. Note that at the time of making this video, Darksiders 3 isn't out yet, so this video will only discuss Darksiders 1 and 2. While going through the story, I will note unanswered questions and points that I find interesting to visit in the third game. You should expect plenty of spoilers in this video. Since the dawn of time, there has been an endless war between heaven and hell. The Charred Council, an ancient entity bound to preserve order and balance, was drawn to the conflict. In time, heaven and hell came to honor the council and its laws, for none were beyond the swift justice of their enforcers, the four horsemen. War, strife, fury, and death. But to know those names, we must first learn of another. Nephilim, a race created by the demoness Lilith, from the cursed union of demons and angels.
Where you ride, no one is safe. Not even your mother.
You are not my mother.
Did I not create Absalom from the mingled dust of angel and demon? And from that first Nephilim, were not the rest formed? They were brothers to the horsemen.
The Nephilim put countless realms to the sword and burned them to ash. Of the Nephilim, there were four who feared the fate of the universe were they allowed to continue their conquest. These four became the hands of the council, received great power, and used that power to kill their kin and restore balance. Death was ordered to contain the souls of the Nephilim in an amulet and throw it into the abyss, but instead he gave it to someone else for safekeeping.
He killed his brothers, his comrades, and Absalom.
Death! Why do you slay your own?
The Nephilim have no claim to Eden.
There are realms for angels and demons. Why not for us?
Eden belongs to man.
It belongs to those who take it!
The eons have not answered the question. Was it worth it?
Brother.
That one moment begot corruption and crowned him kinslayer. The bitter victory could not be undone.
Thus, the four horsemen came to serve the council as their enforcers. Amid the turmoil of war, the conquests of the Nephilim, and the celestial war of heaven and hell, the first humans emerged.
The council foretold that these weak but cunning creatures would someday be integral to the balance. Thus, a third kingdom was named, the Kingdom of Man. By order of the council, a truce was forged between heaven and hell. The Great Pact was bound by 7 seals, to be broken at the appointed time, when man's kingdom stood ready for the end war. A battle that would bring balance and determine the ultimate fate of the 3 kingdoms.
Years have passed since the pact was made, and though everything seems fine, the angels believe that the universe is sick. Evil darkens every corner of creation, and heaven waits, their hands tied because of the truce enforced by the council. Abaddon, an archangel, formulates a plan that will allow heaven to fight evil freely. They will use the Apocalypse Blade to break 6 of the 7 seals, leaving the 7th one, the one that would call the Horsemen, intact. They will then reforge the seals, to make it seem like they were never broken to begin with, and ready their forces for combat. In order for the plan to work, Abaddon enlists the help of 2 people. Azrael, the Angel of Death who would break the seals, and Ulthane, a maker, who would provide the Apocalypse Blade, which is necessary to break them. Ulthane would then reforge the seals, to make it appear as if they have never been broken.
Open attack on the Dark Kingdom would violate the treaty. What you're proposing is madness.
Azrael, evil darkens every corner of creation. Heaven waits. The Council ties our hands.
To question them is to question the Creator. Do you believe you know better?
Yes, old friend. I do. When the seals are broken, Hell will send its chosen to declare battle rights. Their leaders will be gathered in one place, and there we will sever the head of the beast. The Hellguard stands ready.
Breaking the seals will trigger the end war. The kingdom of man is not yet strong enough. Earth will be destroyed.
There will be no war, Azrael. We will crush the Dark Ones before it's even begun.
The pact is a sacred covenant. Even in victory, we will face the wrath of the Council.
They will arrive to find the seals intact. And it will be our word, Heaven's word, against that of the Prince of Lies. Now do you see?
The seals will be reforged. All will believe that Hell's legions invaded and were delivered to justice by our hand. For the glory of the light, will you do this?
No, Azrael. You old fool.
Abaddon managed to persuade Azrael to help, reluctantly. But how did he manage to get Ulthane to agree? That is a mystery to us. What does Ulthane stand to gain from all this? Does he agree with Abaddon that this is the best way to save creation? Or maybe he prefers the angels over the demons. Later in the story, Ulthane's actions lead me to believe that general affinity to angels cannot be the reason why Ulthane helped them. Ulthane is an important character in this story. Without him, Abaddon's idea wouldn't be possible. Finding out more about his motives is one of the things I look forward to the most in Darksiders 3. Another question that I wonder about is the locations of the seals. How was Abaddon able to acquire them? According to the Council, the seals have been hidden since the pact was forged. Yet Abaddon has managed to find them, take them without the Council noticing, break them, reforge them, and return them intact. And if we are already talking about the seals, what is their purpose? We know that when they break, they signal the start of the end war. And we know that the 7th seal, in particular, summons the Horsemen. But what is Seal 1 through 6 for? Are they all just fail-safes? And if so, the question of their supposed hidden location, and how Abaddon managed to acquire them all, becomes even more curious. Either way, with the breaking of the seals, the end war begins. The Council somehow knows Abaddon is responsible. And they know he had help. We are never told how they knew it, but they did. Maybe they could sense the seals were taken, and knew only Abaddon had a location. Or maybe they could sense who took the seals, but couldn't act against him before he returned all of them intact. Again, many questions, no answers. Even though the Council knows Abaddon is responsible, they cannot prove it, since the seals are intact. And without proof, the Horsemen won't act against him. Doing so would be murder, no justice. And so, the Council formulates a plan to deal with those responsible, Abaddon and those who helped him, wherever they may be. The Council sends war to Earth. Even though the 7 seals was not broken, he is called.
Abaddon must be punished. He bends the law to his will, laughs in the face of the Council. What proof do we have? The seals are intact. No doubt the angel had help, but from whom? Until we know, we must wait. His act breeds open defiance. The Council weakens. How long before we are overthrown? We cannot stop Abaddon, but there are others who might, if they had reason. We cannot send the fall. Without proof, there is no justice, only murder. They will see no assassination. We will send one, for whom vengeance is reason enough.
Dwar is dumbfounded, confused. He believes the seventh seal was broken, that the End War has begun, that he does not see his brothers. As he walks the earth, he meets with Abaddon.
Impossible. Abaddon. What is this? Where are my brothers? This cannot be. The final seal.
My lord!
How did this happen? The seventh seal was not broken!
Abaddon! What in heaven's name have you done?
I answer the call.
Abaddon's plan failed. The demons were ready. Their attack was more organized than Heaven imagined. Abaddon falls. When he wakes, he hears a whisper.
How did they?
The best laid plans, or so the humans used to say.
You did this?
You plotted and schemed to call us to this world. I simply took advantage of your initiative.
No.
I will consider this an offering, Abaddon. And you, my loyal servant, join me and take up the mantle of the Destroyer.
No.
Once the throne learns what you've done, you'll be cast down, dragged in chains before the council. You're already damned. So I offer you this choice. Would you serve in heaven or rule in hell? Now, return to Azrael. Persuade him to help us. Then, together, we will change the face of the universe.
Abaddon becomes the Destroyer. Azrael finds Abaddon after his fall and brings him to Eden, to the Tree of Knowledge. Whether it was before or after he was turned to the Destroyer is unclear, but the cutscene would suggest that it was after. That scene still raises many questions. Who is the woman Abaddon was talking to? It is never said outright, but listening to her voice and comparing the voice actors from Darksiders 1 to 2, I have a good reason to believe that the voice belongs to a voice actress named Jessica Strauss, which plays the voice of Lilith in the second game. Therefore, my suspicion is that Lilith is the one who tempted Abaddon with power and turned him into the Destroyer. Now, for the second question. How did she know about his plan to break the seals? Maybe she helped him acquire the seals. I don't know, but when I first saw this scene, I assumed from their interaction...
You did this?
The way he said you, as if he saw her before? Some sort of recognition. I could be reading too much into it, but that's what it sounds like to me. Based on that interaction, I assume that they have spoken with each other before. Maybe she implanted in Abaddon's mind the idea to break the seals in the first place. However, I have no evidence to back up that speculation, and as far as I can tell, there is no way to know how she knew what Abaddon was planning.
The law has been broken.
And so have you, horseman.
Abaddon broke the seals, but there is no proof for his crime, so the Council sent War to take the blame. He is seen as the one who caused the apocalypse.
Even now, Earth smolders in ruin, fallen to the demon lords, and the Destroyer carves a new kingdom amongst his mighty chosen. Some say the Horseman War triggered the apocalypse, that he rode to Earth unbidden and doomed all of mankind.
Straga, the demon that killed Abaddon, kills War as well. War would later wake up in front of the Council and be judged by them for the very crime they framed him for. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to watch the next part.